absolutely have a place in the world of trauma. However, I always warn people not to go straight to psychedelics. It's really important that they do the work first. Because one of the things I have observed, because I've had my own psychedelic experiences, is half the people on retreat at these ayahuasca retreats or iboga retreats or mushroom retreats don't have experiences, and they're disappointed. And that's because they're disconnected from their body. So it's really important as well that sometimes I always say to clients, if you can't sit in discomfort here and now without a psychedelic, then you are not ready for psychedelics because you're too dysregulated. And the thing with psychedelics is you can't turn it off. You've got to go through it. And so some people are just not prepared for that. And it can be, and this is where the fractured psyche comes in. This is where, you know, psychotic breaks come in. I've had clients who have experienced that. And so if you're not ready for sitting in discomfort, do not go to psychedelics. And this is where I always say to clients, do the work first. Put in a good 6 to 12 months of somatic work, EMDR work, and then go to psychedelics. And I find when clients do that, then they have a really amazing transformative experiences with psychedelics. Yeah, I think psychedelics are here to stay as well. And I love them because it's shadow work. It's working with the darkness within us. It's making the unconscious conscious. And we can be running our lives and thinking that we're conscious when we're really not. So making the unconscious conscious is so vital to healing. And that's where I work with people as well, with the unconscious. And so we have to make things conscious in our life if we're going to heal them. And that's where psychedelics play a part. So I offer pre and post integration of psychedelics. So the pre-integration is working with people to really understand their trauma, to really have them have a really great understanding of what happened to them, why they are suffering, why they're stuck, why they're not moving forward, why they can't have certain things in their life. And then we set intentions around, okay, well, if you're going to sit with ayahuasca, these are some intentions to think about. So as we start to become conscious to what's going on, setting intentions around what we want further insight and healing to be revealed to us. And then I offer the post-integration, which is after you've come back from the experience, making sense of that. And the thing with post-integration is psychedelics aren't going to heal you. Psychedelics are going to show you where the work needs to be, what you still need to work on. And so going in and doing that deeper work after the psychedelic experience and integrating that into our life. So I don't ever suggest people go to psychedelics. Most people who seek me out have sought me out through word of mouth or through the fact that psychedelic integration is on my website. But when we're working with trauma, so how I work is I'll be working with that client on their trauma and the things that are coming up for them. And as they come up, I will then say, so I think this may be a really great intention for you when you go to iboga next, or when you go and sit with mushrooms next. I think this is something that you really need to think about. And so we will continue to work on that. And as we work on it, that intention may shift and change. And one of the things with psychedelics and intentions is intentions are so important. They're so vital. And I don't think enough emphasis is put on intentions with psychedelics at all. But the way to get the most out of a psychedelic is to have the intention worded correctly. We need to have the intention worded in a way that's going to give us insight. It's really, really important. So I work with intention setting around what's coming up for the client. What do they need more insight into? What do they need more understanding into? And that's how I work with intentions. The other thing I'll say about intentions is depending on what medicine you're sitting with, the intention will be structured in a way that's specific to that medicine, because every medicine works very differently. Some medicines are masculine and some medicines are feminine. And depending on what psychedelic you're sitting with will depend on the intention and how you word it as well. it's so important because we need someone to help us make sense of the experience. And the second thing is we need to start to put those experiences into practice. So say, for instance, there's a belief system that comes up. We need to work with that belief system because it's now conscious. So psychedelics are going to show us where the healing is. And it's up to us to put those lessons into practice. It's up to us to now heal that, because it can show us something, but if we don't put it into practice, we're not healing. We only know something. It's come into our conscious. So I always say psychedelics make the unconscious conscious. That's their goal. So the real work is after the experience as well, because we have to start to do the work where the psychedelics are showing us that we have the work to do. I do offer that as a service. So that's the post-integration process. So when clients come to me after they've gone to retreat or they've had their psychedelic experience, we will talk about what happened, like what was the insight, what did you get? And then we start to work with that. So a client might say, hey, I had a belief system come up in this ayahuasca ceremony. I had no idea what it was. I had no idea I held this, but it came up and I do now know that I hold this belief system. Great, we can start working with that. Or clients might say, I had this journey and it really didn't make a lot of sense, and we can start to work with it because ayahuasca really works with symbols. And so I start to work with those symbols and say, well, you know, how does this feel for you? And we start to explore that, because some people, they have this experience and they just can't make sense of it. So as we start to work through what they experienced and what comes up, usually it's around insight. They have a lot of insights that come up. And so we just will start working with those insights, those new self-awarenesses that they have gained. But yes, post-integration is vital. And I find that having that great integration therapist is so important, because we really need someone who's experienced with medicines. They understand the medicine, and that's me. I have the experience with these medicines. I've sat with them. I know how they work. I know how they show up in our body and how we experience them. So yeah, it's really important to have someone who's got their own personal experiences with medicines, I believe, because we can only really take someone when we've gone ourselves.